Okay guys, welcome back once more to the Bleed Train. Had to bring you guys back because this is probably the most stupid, crazy, insane and OP build when it comes to Bloodlust buildup using two God tier Godskin Peeler twin blades. Really, you don't want to miss out on them. So I will show you their power so you can try this build for yourself or start creating this build if you are mid game. Because it takes bleed with jump attacks to the next level, killing everything in a couple of jumps, making it feel like it's easy mode all the time. So let's get this crazy train on the road. I had a lot of suggestions on my channel to give the Godskin Peeler twin blades a try, so I decided to set up a build around it. And no wonder this weapon is very popular. It has great damage combos, and you know I like power stancing a lot, so I couldn't resist using a second one. But what sets it apart from other bleed weapons is the huge amount of bloodlust buildup when you get them both to max level with blood affinity. Each Godskin Peeler has 136 blood buildup, and using the jump attack combo that does 4 hits in the air, it adds a lot of blood loss, activating the rest of the items on this build, dealing a crazy amount of damage in a few jumps.
It's in the jump, baby!
But first, let me get you to the location of this great weapon. And it's located in Altus Plateau, over this area where the crazy dancing ladies are, and it will drop when you beat Godskin Apostle boss at the very top. So if you're wondering how do I get to Altus Plateau, there are two ways. First, by obtaining the medallions to activate the Grand Lift of Dectus, or the alternative way that I use always when playing New Game Plus, and that's riding north of Luna of the Lake, or if you just beat Renala boss, start from Bellum Church Site of Grace, and then ride between the cliffs in the river until you get to the Ravine Veiled Village, and start climbing your way up until you get to the Magma Wyrm boss. Beat it, and you will get to Altus Plateau. When getting Godskin Peeler max and with blood affinity, you will have a lot of physical scale damage, and that's because the weapon scales B with Dexterity and D with Arcane. These two attributes are the ones that you have to put the most points in. It has not a punishing requirement of 17 Strength and 22 Dexterity, so you can start using it from mid game like level 40 or 50. On both twin blades you want to add Seppuku to increase even more the attack power and improve the ability to inflict the huge amount of bloodlust that this weapon has. Remember that this is an endgame build and you need two Godskin Peeler. If you still have not gotten your second one, there's a couple of good replacements early on the game. First one is the twin blade located in Dragonburnt Ruins in the starting area lake in Lingrave, inside a chest in an underground cellar. And the next one is the Twin Knight Swords located in Altus Plateau in a burning corpse pile in front of East Windmill Pasture. Both alternatives can be infused with Ashes of War and add the blood affinity while you work your way to the second Godskin Peeler. So how to approach enemies and bosses with any dual twin blade? You just want to get close enough and do the jump attacks that will give you the most damage output for this build. It's that simple. On easier enemies, probably just one jump will do. But for more challenging enemies, you want to buff prior with your Physique Flask, followed by Golden Vow Ash of War, Flame Grammy Strength, and both Seppukus. Starting with your offhand first, and then your main hand. And in a few jumps, if you land on your hits, you can kill everything from mob to bosses in seconds. The trick when using the jump attack on normal height enemies is that you may want to delay the attack button press when jumping, because the characters jump so high that you can miss a couple of hits. So when jumping, wait a little bit and then attack so you can land all 4 hits. If you plan to create this build from scratch, you need a class that can have high dexterity and arcane, and those are Samurai, Bandit, and Confessor. The most important attributes for this build are Dexterity, Arcane. Both are important because of the Godskin Peeler attribute scaling. So before looking at the attributes, if you find this build helpful so far, please don't forget to hit the like button to get this video to more people and have YouTube love me. Thank you, and I appreciate you all. So for a level 50 character, you want to spend your points like this so far. So bigger at 26, so you have a very good HP pool right from the start. Mine at 10, Endurance at 11, Strength at 17, Dexterity at 30, both Strength at the 30 to get to the requirements of the Godskin Peeler. Intelligence at 9, Faith at 9. We won't be able to use Flame Grammy Strength yet, but at least we can use the Twin Blade and Golden Vow Ash of War. Arcane at 17. For a level 100 character, you want to spend your point like this. Vigor at 35, Mind at 13, Endurance at 18, Strength at 17, Dexterity at 50 to get near the second soft cap, Intelligence at 9, Faith at 15 to be able to use Flame Grant Me Strength incantation, Arcane at 22. For a level 150 character, you want to spend your points like this: Vigor at 50, Mind at 16, Endurance at 22, Strength at 17, Dexterity at 60, Intelligence at 9, Faith at 15, Arcane at 40. For a level 200 character like mine, Vigor at 60, Mind at 20, Endurance at 30, Strength at 17, Dexterity at 75, Intelligence at 9, Faith at 15, Arcane at 53. Now let's talk about the armor. For this build, I decided not to go with the meta, and that's using the white mask and the raptor black feather chest, only because I wanted to use the Godskin Peeler in fashion. Using half of the Samor set, that's the mask and the armor, paired with half of the twin set, that's the gauntlets and the grip. With those, I think the character looks pretty sick. Now, if you want to do more damage, by any means use the white mask and raptor black feather that are best in slot for all of the bleed builds. But really, with the insane amount of damage these weapons put out, you can use whatever armor you want, even go naked. So besides the twin blade themselves and the two Seppukus, the items that make this build shine are the Talismans and the Physique flash tiers, because they will increase your continuous hits with the jump attack with blood buildup by a lot, doing insane damage when they all proc. First, we got Lord of Blood's Exultation that raises attack power by 20% for 20 seconds when bloodlust occurs in the vicinity. It drops from the boss Esgar, Priest of Blood, in Lanedale Catacombs at Lanedale Capital. To get there, you start from Avenue Balcony, Side of Grace. Just go this route and drop here in this well, and you're gonna run through this dungeon really quick. I just follow this route. Watch out for the rats, then drop down on the left to another Side of Grace. Then from here, just go to the left, drop down here and follow the path here, through the pipes, and watch out for those enemies, and drop down here very carefully. And after that, just be careful because there's a big lofter enemy, so just watch out and you're there. Next, Rod and Wing Sword Insignia that increases attack power depending on the number of attacks you land. So every 3 attacks, you activate a tier. Those tiers are 6%, 8%, and 13%. Next, Millicent Prosthesis increases attack power depending on the number of attacks you land. So every 3 attacks, you activate a tier. Those tiers are 4%, 6%, and 11%. Both talismans stack together and are obtained after completing Millicent questline and choosing one of the 2 options at the end. But to get the second talisman, you gotta do a second playthrough and choosing the opposite option. If you have not completed your second playthrough, you can use as alternative the Greek Turtle Talisman or even the Radagon Sword Seal. Finally, the Claw Talisman that will increase the jump attack damage by 15%. It's found on Stormvale Castle. From Rampart Tower Side of Grace, go back and up the stairs, avoid all enemies. Go this way, jump here on the ledges of these towers, drop down, and this way, and go up here from the ledge, and you will find a ladder, and then up is the Claw Talisman. Before going up the ladder, I recommend killing all the enemies. Now for the Physique flask, we got Thorny Crack Tier that will increase attack power depending on the number of attacks you land by 3 minutes. So every 3 attacks, you activate a tier. Those tiers are 9%, 13%, and 20%. Just like the Rotten Wing Insignia and Millicent Prosthesis Talisman. And the good thing is that this tier stacks with both of them. So when you have all 3 activated, you're gonna have an incredible increase on attack power. It's dropped by the Putrid Avatar at the Minor Earth Tree in the Consecrated Snowfield. That's the west side of Mountain Tops of the Giants. The second one is the Dexterity-knot Crystal tier that would increase dexterity by 10 and will last 3 minutes as well. It's found at the top of Small Island at Liurna of the Lake. So if you remember that I said on Challenging Fight you need to buff yourself, so the buff sequence to use on this build is first a dagger with Golden Vow Ash of War that would increase attack power by roughly 12%. The Ash of War is dropped by a mounted Godric Knight on the cliff southwest of Lingrave. Also we got a Finger Seal to do the Flame Grant Me Strength incantation that will increase attack power by 20%. Stamina recovery speed as well, lasting 30 seconds. It's found on Caelid behind Fort Gale on a body between 2 mechanical flamethrowers. And last, the 2 Seppukus on each Godskin Peeler that will increase a flat 30 attack power and can be found on mountaintops of the giants. On the 8th side, Big Lake, you have to kill the invisible scarab to get it. Then you must duplicate it or get it on NG Plus to apply it to the second twin blade. So having all those items working together, this build with dual Godskin Peeler is a monster of a build. With Bleed being the most dominant type of build in the game right now, you can't miss it. But being an endgame build, it will take a bit to get all the pieces, but having weapon and talisman replacement, you will still be powerful enough and dominate all the content in Elden Ring, killing everything in a few jumps. So guys, if you find this video helpful, please help me out hitting that like button to get this video to more people, and subscribe if you don't want to miss any new videos about Elden Ring. Thank you all, I appreciate you. If you have any questions or tips that you want to share, do so in the comments down below. I'm linking up the other Bleed builds that I played and tried and are as powerful as this one. So don't sleep on them, they will be on the upper right corner. As always guys, be safe and see you on the next one. Ciao!